Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Bridget.
Good afternoon, Susan.
Hello. So we're here with Bridget Barnes, Director of Boys Town's Common Sense Parenting in Nebraska, and we're talking about tantrums, everyone's favorite topic, and I'm sure every parent's nightmare is, when you're in the checkout aisle of the grocery store and your 3-year-old just loses their mind because of something that they want and they have no idea how to express themselves correctly and they just lose it. And the fear of watching everyone else watching you try to parent through that is just really scary and difficult and frustrating. So thanks for joining us. Let's start with that, Bridget. Let's start with, what do you do in that situation? How do you get through that?
Oh, you're going for the gusto.
Going for the gusto. That's in my mind. That's what I think of when I think of tantrums.
Well, when you're already in the tantrum, we should talk about what you should do to prevent it. But let's talk about when you're already there and you're out in public. And some of the things that you said, there's fear. Is the fear factor is in place that parents are fearful of what other people are thinking. And what I tell parents to do is, number one, before you can take care of a child and help them to calm down, you have to take care of you. And it only really takes a couple of seconds to take a deep breath, ooh-sah, count to 5, and then address your child. And if people are watching, they're watching, but they're also watching you calm yourself down. So don't be afraid to do stuff, right? Number 2 is treat it like a fire drill. Get out, get out, get out. Get out of wherever you're at. Don't stay around for the show. Find a quiet place to talk to your kid. So if you can move them with a little bitty, you just pick them up like a football, with the little legs and arms away from your body so they're not kicking you. So a little 2-year-old, you can move out of the area. And then find a little corner or a little bench or a quiet place or your car for that matter. You can ask the storekeeper to keep your groceries in the cool, back at the storage or school, and you can give them your business card or something. They say, I'm gonna be right back. They want your money. So let that be that, and they want your kid to stop screaming in their eyes, so they'll cooperate with you. And so then remove. If there's a bigger child, you don't want to drag them or things like that. Try to get down to their level. Talk calmly, and let them know you're leaving the building, and they should leave with you, right, at this time. If they can't do that, try to get them calm, but ignore them. So I try to stay in their vicinity, but I don't look right at them, because attention is a reward that increases behavior. So if I'm right there begging and pleading, that might cause them to get more out of control.
Yeah.
So definitely try to coax them out of the area, and note when the child is beginning to get out of control. As soon as they start revving up versus the rage or the explosion, try to note. He's saying no, he's beginning to whine, now I'm addressing it, versus way up here and screaming and throwing things. That's, you waited too long, so don't wait so long when you begin to see that tantrum beginning. Know who you're dealing with. You got a kid who can throw a tantrum and is not afraid to do so. So if you're taking that child to the store, note to self, pre-teach before you go in, practice before you go in, and try to stop behavior while it's small.
How do I practice?
Well, definitely, when you're at home, taking the deep breaths, having the child take that deep breath, count to 10, use their words. I'm mad. It's okay for kids to be mad. It's okay for kids to not like what you're saying. But the problem is how they communicate that. So if they can say, I'm mad because you're not letting me have that sucker, I say, okay, I can see you're mad. And you have a right to be mad. Okay. Let's see how we can handle that. What are you supposed to do when you're mad? Take a deep breath. Okay, why don't you do that? And then we can talk about you and the sucker while I continue to get the groceries out here. The child can do that. If not, I'll take them to a corner or spot that I spy that would be good for us to talk and for them to work through this. So I would not give in and give the child what they want. Unless I'm getting on a plane and we're going to they're making me.
The stakes are really high.
Yeah, the stakes are high, and it would disrupt the entire flight with a tantrum. I've been in that situation where a child was having a tantrum. and we were getting on the plane, and the mother was not going to give in, and this child was just screaming. The entire plane was just upset. I was like, at this point, you just have to give him whatever he wants. Teaching is over. Wait until you're out of 37,000 feet and do some teaching later, because there's nowhere to go. But so yeah, being a more proactive parent saves everybody, the child, the parent, and the rest of the community that has to watch that. And addressing it sooner than later is your best bet. I was at a restaurant where Dad was not addressing it. The child was having a meltdown, full meltdown, and no one was addressing that. And it just got more out of control where he was throwing food and food was flying and people were, and Dad just kept right on eating and ignoring. And so you shouldn't ignore, especially when you're public. Go ahead and address that calmly, safely, and in a place that a child doesn't have a whole audience.
So would it be, if I know my kid is going to have a meltdown or typically wants something at a certain store or, this is a bad time for them, do we role play that at home and, practice before we're going? And I mean, how much practice would you recommend?
A lot. I would say that with my children, they would practice 3 times in the morning to get the thing they wanted in the morning. So if something they wanted to do in the morning, they have to practice calming down strategies. Okay, show me how you can take your deep breath. Show me how you can count. Show me how you can use your words. Okay, now you can earn this thing. Okay, and then 3 times in the afternoon, they earn the thing they want in the afternoon. And then 3 times at night, they earn the thing they want at night. And now I have a child who's 9 times better than they were the day before at being able to calm themselves down or use some self-soothing strategy than I had before. If I practice that over a course of 14 days, I've got a very good kid at being able to tell me or anybody else how to calm themselves down. So it really is in the practice and the prevention of a parent. And I just don't practice, I practice at home, but I also, on the way to the store, I would be practicing at the stoplight. Show me how we're going to take that deep breath. If I tell you no about something, or if you don't like something, show me now how you use your words. We're driving the car up to the place. Okay, before we go in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're used to it. They can tell anybody, oh, you need to calm down and use your words. So they'll be able to tell you. Or if it's a teenager, I don't have a problem. It doesn't matter what age. If you have a deficit with a particular skill, then it's my job as a parent to help you improve that skill, like any other skill that I would teach you. So,
right.
Yeah.
What about rewards? How do you use rewards in a situation like this?
Tell me a little bit more what you mean by rewards.
So, and I feel like I probably do this too much as a parent of the bribery, but better called a reward, where it's, if we can get through this, and you get upset and you take your deep breaths, then maybe we can go for ice cream this evening, or, something like that, of a small reward if they do have a deficit and are doing what they're supposed to do.
Sure. Rewards are fine and great tools, are a small part of what you should be using. And you can put those in place beforehand. So don't, I would mention it while the child is in a full-blown, right then they're having a meltdown. Don't start promising them things, because that'll teach them, have a meltdown, and mom will start promising you things, right? So if you want to use those rewards, kind of talk to kids ahead of time. While you're at home practicing, in the car while you're practicing, on the way up while you're practicing, you could say, okay, you guys know what happens when we do calm down and accept our no answers? What happens? And they can tell you, we earned this. And I usually try to have variations of rewards, like things that cost no money. You get to play your game when we get back home. You get to play outside when we get back home. Things that wouldn't cost any money. Stay up later. Talk on your phone. Okay? And then there are things that are more time-consuming that maybe they'll cost money, but we're going to go to the park. We're going to go do something. And then things that cost. So kind of categorize that. So you're not always paying off with things that cost you. because there's plenty of things that motivate kids.
Good suggestions. Good suggestions. What about timeouts? How do you use timeouts with this, and when you're practicing, and then when you're disciplining?
Well, there's lots of different views about timeout. My thing is that you should teach a child about timeout before you actually begin to use it,
Right.
so they can understand what it is. And really, that is going to show you developmentally where they're at. Because just because they're this age doesn't mean that they really get it, and that they understand it. So if they can teach it to someone else, if they can, you have the little doll and you're saying, oh, they're crying and screaming and they won't accept no, where should they go? Go to timeout. And they can, teach it to dad, tell grandma about this thing that they understand. So help teach ahead of time, and then you'll be able to put timeout in place. Usually when children are having a tantrum or a meltdown, I don't try to put them in timeout. I send them to a calm down spot. They're not calm enough to go to timeout. Timeout is a consequence. So giving the kid a consequence to me is like throwing gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just be more, screaming and yelling. And, so I send them to a spot that they recognize as a calm down spot. It might have calming things there, like a squeezy ball or their favorite blanket, and they can cry and scream right in that spot. An older kid, it might be another place that they can listen to their music or calm themselves down, write in a journal, something else, all right. And then once they're calm, then the consequence would, the timeout doesn't go away. It's still there. So you're going to send that child to timeout.
Yeah.
An older kid, you might send the thing they want to timeout. You were playing with that iPad when I told you to put it down, so that's going to go to timeout. An older kid is going to lose something that they want once they calm themselves down. So I would say that teach kids ahead of time about consequences and when they will be used and why they will be used, and have them explain that to you. And when they can explain it, then I think they're more cooperative, and when you use it, they're going to know this is happening because I did this behavior, right?
I like that you talked about putting something that they want in timeout instead of the child, because tantrums aren't just for 2 and 3-year-olds. Sometimes older kids have tantrums as well. One of the most popular articles on our website is 7-year-old temper tantrums. So in that situation, timeout might be a little bit more difficult, but taking their iPad away or taking something that they really want to play with away for timeout I think it would be a great solution.
Yeah, and then once it is there, say, okay, show me how you can calm down 3 times before you can get, show me how you can follow instructions, or whatever the case may be. Have the child earn that thing back out of there, for an older kid versus just in there for a bit of time, and they might think, I can do the time. I can wait that out.
Worth it.
And I don't want parents to live in days and weeks with things in timeout. You'll end up with your whole house over there. So just get that the child earns it out by their cooperative behavior.
Got it. What is the worst thing that I can do when my child starts throwing a tantrum?
Lose control of yourself. Really get yourself to that level where you are out of control.
Yeah.
When you see yourself going toward that E line, that emotional line, stop yourself and step away from your child, not toward your child. Take that deep breath, step away, calm yourself down. The more you practice it, the better you're going to be at it. And if you want your kid to be calm, you have to be calm. You can't say, do as I say and not as I do.
Mm-hmm. Which, we talk about the kid practicing those calm down skills. Equally as important for the parent, because calming down in that situation is much easier said than done. So I imagine practicing that as a parent also very important.
Yeah, sometimes I tell parents to go hide things from themselves, like a little contract they made with themselves, and then they just hide it in the sock drawer, and then when they feel like they want to reach out and touch somebody and I don't get a phone call, they need to go find that thing.
Yeah.
If you're out in public, you put it in your purse or put it in the car, you feel like you're really angry and you're going to lose it, look for that thing. And just focus you to something else other than your child. Because when you're in a kind of in a rage or you're going through a rage, you stop using your frontal lobe, you stop thinking. And it only takes a couple of seconds to make the wrong move. So if you can have something else you can focus on, you can take, the first 30 seconds, take the deep breath. Use your words. Let's take a break. And then go find that thing that's going to help you to calm down your stress ball or whatever it might be.
Yeah. And don't care what other people think. I think that's an important thing for parents. It took me a couple kids to figure that out, that, if my kids were acting up in public, getting up, taking them to a quiet corner where I could sit and talk to them, nobody was judging me, nobody cared, nobody was, watching what I was doing. It was important for the child, and I think people are too sensitive about what other people think sometimes.
Yeah, my son did, just hanging on to he wanted a candy bar or something, and they put that candy right there at the register. It's a setup, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he was a little guy, and so I told him no, he couldn't have it, and he hung on to that rack, and he wasn't letting go. And I began to use my parenting strategies, and then someone came up to me and said, "What were you doing? That was great." Some people are watching you. I'm fine with people watching me. That's fine, because I'm going to be a parent, and I'm going to use a parenting approach that I can feel like I'm safe and my kid is safe.
Right.
So they see that, that's great. I hope that's inspiring to people, but at the same time, I want to keep my kids safe. So.
Right.
Yeah, he eventually he let go of that, because I said, they used to have security guys, or I said, "Do you want him to come over here and take you out, or you want to come with me?" And he looked at the guy looked at him, and he went with me. I used a little psych out.
Yeah.
And I worked with that little 3-year-old. Oh my God.
I love it. What about the things that you say while a kid is having a tantrum? One of the articles on our website talks about you can talk too much to a kid. They're not going to understand the more that you go. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Say less and do more. What I mean by that is that not talking is kind of speaking to a kid. When I'm silent, kids know, wow, something serious is going on here. And also that gives me an opportunity to think and to use calm down strategies for myself, and to, think about, okay, what's my next step in regards to where I'm at and what's going on here. So I give myself that opportunity to calm myself, check myself, and decide, okay, what's my next step here, versus talking to a child who's obviously out of control. So that's a waste of time.
Yeah. What about afterwards?
Yeah, that is when you should talk, and I don't mean lecture. That's not the time that I start lecturing kids. That's the time I start teaching a child and having them practice what I expect of them in the future. So kids start working in my world. I'm going to have them start showing me, okay, you didn't stay calm while we're in the store, so show me now what we're supposed to do. How do we take the deep breath? What should you say? I should use my words. What are those words? Okay, let's do that. And then, let's learn how to follow instructions or accept no, whatever got you in that out of control situation. And in the first place, to, so they're going to be doing a lot of work. They won't be like skipping away and let's go to the next thing. It will be, okay, now I need to help you work on that deficit you have. So the next time or the next place we go, we're not in this situation.
Mm-hmm. One of the other things I like that we've talked about before, it might not be appropriate for younger kid tantrums, but definitely for older kid tantrums, is that, timeout card, not the timeout card, but that cool down card, where it's, something that you put out and both you and the child know that means split, take 5 minutes, both the parent and the child work on calming down, and then come back together and then talk through it. I love that for older kids, because it's a great way to model great behavior for your kids and show them what to do.
Yeah, I think it's great for adults. I think it's great for anybody that's having, a conflict that they can't seem to come to, and it's getting more and more out of hand. So, when you put that down and say, let's take a break, let's, and get calmed down, and that shows a real sense of respect for the child, respect for a parent, that you're willing to take that break, and it keeps relationships, because you can say some really nasty things, some things you don't really mean, and that sticks with people, that stays with you, you don't always forget it, you obviously will forgive it, we always will love our kids, and vice versa, but try to avoid those by, having a calm down card and saying, hey, when we put that down, whether it's you or me, I'm going to stop talking, you're going to stop talking, and we're going to take time to calm down.
Got it. That's great. So what is one takeaway that you would give to parents, in the heat of a tantrum? What is one thing that you want them to remember?
You love your kid. You want the best for them, right? And if you stay on that thought, you're going to calm yourself down. This is somebody I love, and they're obviously in distress. And I just treat that behavior like anything else, okay? I don't like it. I love this person. How can I help?
Right.
Okay? And if you kind of see it like that versus he's attacking me or he's being disrespectful to me and take it as an attack on you, then you're going to respond probably in not an appropriate way or not in an effective way. Mm-hmm. So I would just say, remember that you love this person. This person is having a problem, and what's the best way for you to help them get over this issue?
I love that too, because it changes the whole mindset of it's not them being naughty and bad, it's them not expressing themselves in the right way. So we just need to teach that.
Yeah, there's consequences that can speak to that, and there's practicing that can speak to that. Our yelling and our anger and our lashing at our kids doesn't really help anything. If it did, I'd write it in a book and sell it to people. It's not the thing that, really helps parents and children develop, grow, and become better at, the relationships. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Bridget. I really appreciate it. We've got a great email series that we can put in the comments for parents if they're not in an area where we have Common Sense Parenting classes, but we'll also put a link to where we've got Common Sense Parenting classes coming up for anybody that's interested.
Yeah, we have some free classes that are going to come up here in Omaha for parents and also in Lincoln. So that parents should be looking out at our webpage for those free classes. One's called Parenting for School Success. It's going to be a great series that they should attend. And we'll also have some classes for parents of children with toddlers and preschoolers. Be looking for that.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks, Bridget, for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.